Sound check, guys. Can you hear me out there? Can you see me out there? We are live for the Wednesday morning tournament. Don't adjust your sets. I'm rolling solo this morning. We are on this train together, folks. Gavin will be back next week. It's a real tough week for everybody. You guys saw last night if you watched Unum and I play. Everyone's grinding through the USBF right now. The round robin is actually going on, so there's a ton of bridge being played, and they need some rest, all right? So we're going to let them kind of chill, and we're going to have at it together. First things first, though, one thing I've realized lately is that a lot of you guys on YouTube have never seen one of my actual classes that goes on bridgelesson.com. So I thought I would just show you kind of what that looks like for about 5 minutes, and then we'll jump into this tournament. This will be hand one right here, and we'll play this tournament together and see what we can do and see if we can pull a victory in and keep our streak going. So first things first, let me just show you kind of what a lesson looks like on bridgelesson.com. This is actually something I'm going to do this afternoon. It's the one no trump forcing lesson, and this is a good way to kind of get practice on some of the things you might not see that often, and you not only get to see these sorts of questions and answer periods during the class, but you also get a copy of the notes afterwards, and they look something like this. So let me just ask you guys a quick question. This is going to be our auctions with the forcing no trump, and look at the auction right on top there. Your partner opened one spade, you bid one no trump, which is forcing for one round at least. Some people play this semi-forcing, which is fine. It's basically the same exact concept, just with a little bit of flexibility on the other side. But on this auction, you've agreed to play the forcing no trump. You've bid a no trump in response to partner's major suit. And North now bids 2 diamonds. Now here is a hand for you. This is a hand that you did bid the forcing no trump with. And now when your partner bids 2 diamonds, what will you do with this hand? Make your choice, guys. And you can make that choice right in the chat. Go ahead and do that here. What call would you be making with this hand here? After partner opened a spade, you bid 1 no trump, and your partner rebid 2 diamonds. And this is, guys, if you're just getting into the broadcast, we will get to the tournament in a second. This is just a sneak preview of this afternoon's lesson on bridgelesson.com. And this is what I try to do with all of my classes on Bridge Lesson, is give you guys decisions from the very beginning to the very end. And those of you that have attended classes know that you sometimes leave with a little bit of a headache, but that's the no pain, no gain scenario, right? We're trying to get as many decisions in so that we can get better at actually making calls and or, making plays as well. All right, that's hand number 1. Let's look at another hand, right? Same exact auction, but now I'm going to give you a different hand. So number 1, and just assume you're playing normal match points. Number 1, you've already made your bids. Number 2, what would you do with this one? And don't worry, I'm going to give you guys the answer to all 4 of these auctions in a second. And then we will get to the tournament, guys. This is just a little sneak preview of today's lesson on bridgelesson.com. And the auction went 1 spade by partner. You made the forcing no trump bid. They bid 2 diamonds in response to that. And the question is, what do we do with hand number 2? And if you want to make a bid on any of the other hands, you can press 1 or 2. It's a little different in the lesson. You can't see the chat of other people, so you get a private response. This is a little bit different on YouTube, but that's good. We're all part of one big family here. So what would you do with hand number 2 here after partner responds 2 diamonds to your forcing no trump bid? I'm seeing some good answers here. This is good stuff. I'm seeing some bad answers too, which is also good stuff. This is excellent. We're all going to have a chance to learn. All right, let's look at number 3 now. What would you do with this one? Same auction again. 1 spade by partner. You bid a no trump, which you would with this hand. And now partner bid 2 diamonds. What do you do with hand number 3? And we have 2 more problems, and then we will start playing our tournament, guys. So don't worry. That is on the menu. This is just bonus bridge this morning. And this just came from, I recognize that a lot of people that are on the site are people I've taught, certainly in person in New York or in Florida, but a lot of you guys haven't actually seen some of this stuff. go. I like what I'm seeing there. Good, good. Yeah, let's hope you guys are seeing this. It looks like I'm experiencing a little slowdown in the stream, so apologies if there's any buffer in there. All right, now let's look at number 4, last chance to excel this morning on these problems, and then we'll jump right into the tournament. This time, same exact auction, you have this hand. Number 4 is your last chance here. That's how to do it, Cecil. If you want to answer all of them at once, if you're coming in late, you can do it that way. Number 1, number 2, number 3. Not sure. There we go. I think our streaming is back up to par now. Sorry for any buffering you guys might have experienced there. It looks like we're back up to some sort of regular speed here. Apologies if you're experiencing a little bit of that. All right. So let's take a look at these. All right. The first one is the one that probably I would say most people have gotten incorrect. And that is this one. Number 1 is what we're going to just be doing most of the time here. All right. We are going to usually, when we make this forcing no trump bid, we are very frequently going to be... Yeah, sure, I can increase my volume. Absolutely, yeah. We are very frequently going to be just taking a preference for partners' suits, right? The big problem with this one is so many people think that you have a diamond fit here, which is pretty normal, to be honest, because you do have 4 cards in that diamond suit. However, we have to remember that partner very frequently, when they are responding to the forcing no trump, they don't have a problem. They don't have a clear-cut response sometimes when they're balanced. So they are allowed to bid a 3-card minor suit. So in situations like this where you have 4 of the minor they might have shown and only 2 of their original major, it is preferable to go back to that original major suit, right? That gets you to that 5-2 fit, which is going to be a much better spot for your side to be in. So this is the one that almost everyone gets wrong initially with the forcing no trump, because we forget that sometimes partner is going to be responding to diamonds with only a 3-card holding. And this is especially true if you play this as 100% forcing, which is what the robots would do on bridge base, right? So here, this is the same situation as you would normally see. Just be bidding 2 spades and getting it back to there. And that, in fact, is the exact same thing for number 2. Do not be tempted to bid your heart suit. You may sometimes find a 5-3 heart fit, right? Maybe. But you are really swinging for the fences on that one. You're not going to be bidding 2 hearts, because that's actually going to show a 6-card suit and a sign-off, right? So here, this 2-spade bid is just once again saying, hey, I know we at least have a 7-card spade fit, and I don't want to just sign off by bidding 2 hearts. 2 hearts would tell partner, hey, do not bid again. I don't care what you have, and we just don't have enough length to do that. Number 3 is one of the main reasons we play the no trump is forcing. It is because this is a hand that, unless you have system to show it right away, you need 2 steps to show this. And that is, you start with the forcing no trump like we did here, and then you jump to the 3-level in partner suit afterwards. Very important, guys, that you jump to the 3-level. The 2-level, as you can see in number 1 and number 2, is where we're just taking a preference, right? So there, we don't even necessarily have a fit. In fact, we almost never do when we make that bid on the left there with 1 and 2, the preference bid, okay? The 3-spade bid is our invite. Right, that says, hey, partner, I'm inviting to game. And this last one, number 4, is what we call a sign-off, right? This is how we sign off with a long suit in a bad hand. We bid a no trump first, and then opposite partner, whatever they do, whatever response they give us, if we bid a new suit, that's where we're signing off. Right, so this is just a sneak preview of what's going to go on this afternoon in the 1 no trump forcing quiz class. Every Wednesday we do this bridge quiz, and also All of these notes come with it, so you get kind of an explanation of why these bids are what they are. And also you have slides like this that are nice cheat sheets going forward. This just gives you kind of the most common follow-ups and some example auctions. So yeah, this is what I do on Wednesdays. And then Thursday morning, we're doing something totally new. We're doing declare or duplicate, where you're going to sit at your own table. You're going to declare with and against robots, and everyone else is going to be in the same situation. We're going to score it like a duplicate game. So I think that one's going to be super fun. And that's what's happening this entire season from September to December. All the classes are going to be either quiz classes like this or the game class on Thursday mornings. And I'm going to sprinkle in some full kind of, I would say, complete lessons on certain topics that are going to go along with some of the quizzes we're doing as well. So guys, if you ever want to join us, just bridgelesson.com is where you want to be. But let's get back to our tournament here. Now that we are done kind of practicing, let's get in for the real thing, and let's take a look at the first hand we're going to see. We have a solid 19 count, right? Four spades, 3 hearts, 2 diamonds, and 4 clubs. And this is an interesting one because we talk about upgrading a lot when we have 19 guys, but we do only are going to do that with a 5-card suit, right? So here, if you added a club to this hand, or maybe even added a spade to this hand, I would be opening 2 no trump in a heartbeat. But here, it's just normal to open 1 club. And we're going to kind of be down the middle today. We're going to see how that works for us this morning in the tournament. So here we go. When I bid a club, we'll see where we end up on the way back. Yeah, that's right, Babs. Exactly. So if we lose today, our winning streak with Gavin won't be affected. Exactly. We keep these completely separately. And I have to say, it is so weird. It is so weird rolling solo during this tournament. It's been so long, actually. It's probably been since the pre-pandemic, or right around that time, where I've been kind of rolling solo in a broadcast. It's kind of fun. Right? I can kind of take it at my own pace here. So here, after we open a club and partner bids a heart, don't be tempted to bid spades here, right? This is a spot where when we're bidding spades, we're either going to be bidding 1 or 2, and 2 would be the game forcing variety, but we're going to be doing that with unbalanced hands or lesser hands if we're bidding 1 spade. Here, our goal was to bid 2 no trump. The only thing that would have changed that is if partner responded 1 spade, right? So here we bid 2 no. We're just going to show 18-19 balanced, and partner now bids 3 spades. What the heck is that? All right, looks like they're showing natural spades with hearts. It's weird that they didn't use some sort of new minor forcing, right? This is kind of an odd spot for partner, but we're going to trust that they have spades here, and we'll kick it into 4 spades, and hopefully we'll just buy it there. Ah, thanks, Karen. I won't tell Gavin that. Don't worry. All right, so now we're playing spades from the other side of the table. Interesting. Look at partner's hand. This is kind of wacky. They had a tough choice, to be honest. They really needed a bid that might be like, if you've ever heard of a wolf sign-off or some sort of sign-off bid, that would have been helpful for them here in this particular hand, possibly. But, you know, they kind of took their shot here. We did find a spade fit, but we're not in the easiest of hands, right? This is a spot where we might just, you know, have some extra work to do, let's put it that way. So let's take a second, think about this hand, make a little bit of a plan, and I will do the same as I'm looking at it, right? We're playing 4 spades. The south hand is the dummy, if that matters, right? We're playing it from that north side. And Karen, if the picture is a little bit out of focus, it usually is just your computer is buffering a little bit. When you first get into a YouTube broadcast, sometimes it's a little bit grainy, and then when your connection catches up, it rectifies. So hopefully that's the case. It looks like it's pretty clear over here. Anyone else in the chat want to let me know? That's great. All right, so this is a pretty classic spot that we've talked about quite a bit. And let me get my little tool up here if I can. Sorry guys. Okay, so here we have a short side suit, the club suit, and we have 4-4 in trumps, right? So we have equals numbers of trumps here, right? So here, when we trump, and this is a fun one, when we're 4-4, the side we trump in first is the side we want to continually trump in, if possible, right? So here, once we trump 1 club in the north hand, which we're going to try to do pretty quickly here, we're going to want to continually do that as much as possible to get the maximum number of tricks. But we also can see that the diamond suit could potentially provide us with some pitches as well. So we have some interesting choices here. When we look at our loser count, it's not that great for us, right? It looks like we have 2 to 3 heart losers and maybe 1 or 2 spade losers if things going really bad for us, and possibly club losers if we get unlucky in this particular spot. But yeah, if you're having any issues, if you refresh your screen, you should be all set. The stream is pretty strong now. So here, we're obviously going to have to win this first trick. So let's see what happens after we win the ace here. And what we can try to do possibly is maybe get the best of all worlds. If we play the ace of clubs, and we start this trumping in the shorthand here, we don't necessarily want to be coming back to our hand immediately to do anything special, right? We maybe wanted to, we maybe wanted to cash this diamond beforehand, but anyway, we're just going to get over there. We're going to try to trump as many as we can. And now we're going to cash one of these and hopefully be able to pitch away a loser here. And now what, guys? What do you think you want to do here? Make your choice. We've actually done pretty well so far. We have accomplished our goal of actually getting rid of all of our clubs. Maybe not the perfect line of play here. But now that we're in that dummy over there, what do you think our best way to go forward with this hand is? It's kind of an interesting spot. We can only lose 3 tricks, and we should know. Well, let me ask this question. What's the diamond situation? How many diamonds are left? Are you guys keeping count? Yeah, Stephanie, that was definitely a possibility. The problem was it didn't look like a club was going to actually survive either. Yeah, B, I like this kind of play here. We should know that the diamond suit is 1-0 right now, right? The opponents, one of them has 1, one of them has 0. Initially, a diamond was led by East, right? So let's see what happens when we play this. Here, we can hopefully see them roughing with some length over here to our left, and maybe we get lucky to actually take enough tricks here. It doesn't look like I'm starting out very well on the first board. Not too bad, though. We just have to hope that we're getting lucky in spades, and we can't really get that lucky. All right, we would definitely need it. I would guess this is off at some point. Okay. Let's see where we end up. Not too good to start out with, and the reason is we could have made 4 spades for sure. All right. I see. Okay. So if we look at the results here, the auction got a little bit messed up at some of the tables, and they may have gotten a slightly better. They got to play it from the south side first, and now it looks like it went pretty similar version. Pitching a heart is the way to go for sure. They got to pitch 2 hearts. Okay. And then they broke spades with the jack. That would work out much, much better. So, guys, starting off a little bit rough, but we've started off in worse spots. So let's go to hand number 2 here. This is nothing special. We have a 12 count. We're just going to open 1 spade. Let's see where we end up. Ooh, okay. This is a great one because we just talked about this at the beginning. This is the class of today. We see partner making this 1 no trump bid. We open a spade, partner bid 1 no trump. And this is forcing for the robots, right? This is what they would consider 1 no trump forcing. They would never consider you possibly passing here. So let me ask you this question. If you play the forcing no trump and you must bid, what would you do? I'm not saying that's the right choice today, all right? We may choose to do something differently. But what would you do with this hand originally? Yeah. Okay. So this is the time where if we're playing the total forcing no trump, right, which is which is what the robot certainly plays, and most of you are playing as well, at least at the beginning of your 2/1 bridge careers. This is the hand that we're allowed to bid 2 clubs with, like I discussed earlier, and it's because we lack any better bid. If we aren't allowed to pass, right? If this is truly forcing, we have to have some way to show our balanced hands, right? We can't rebid 2 spades. That's going to be 6 cards, right? And we certainly can't bid 2 no. That's 18, 19 balanced. And if we're not allowed to pass, we have to do something. And that's why this 2 of a minor, 2 clubs or 2 diamonds could be a 3-card holding. However, most of the modern game is playing, and expert circles are playing what's called the semi-forcing 1 no trump response. And this allows us, with hands like this, minimums, it allows us to pass when we have a balanced minimum, which is exactly what we're looking at. Now, I know some of you out there saying, well, what if partner has that 3-card limit raise? That's the risk we're taking, but even when they have that, we still rate to do pretty well in a no trump contract if partner's not wildly unbalanced. So here, we're going to pass with this one, and it is only acceptable with hands like this. Let me put it this way. If I add a club to this hand or a heart, I would always bid my 4-card suit. Okay, so when you play a semi-forcing no trump, not a forcing no trump, a semi-forcing, you're still supposed to bid naturally. But when you have these 5-3-3-2 minimums, you are allowed to pass, and that's what we're going to do. And we're gonna say, damn the robot here. We don't care about this forcing no trump. And if we get unlucky, we get unlucky. All right, but these I've found usually in robot tournaments to be pretty successful spots for us. And as you can see, we bought a great spot here other than the diamond suit. We have a real good source of tricks on 2 sides of the table and ways to take extra tricks. So take a moment, guys, count your winners, and let's formulate a plan of play. I played the first hand like a donkey, so let's get back on this train here, and I'll try to actually think rather than just be clicking buttons over here, which is tough to do when you're broadcasting. So first of all, how many winners are we looking at, and what's our plan of attack here? Or what are we going to do first? What makes the most sense from what you're looking at here? Yeah, winners looks exactly right. About 5, right? 3 clubs, 1 heart is 4, 1 spade is 5. What suit are we going to focus on for extra tricks, do you think? Now remember, this is the key to passing 1 no trump. We're only in 1, right? So here we are only in the 7-trick level. So that's all we have to worry about. Now we're not starting with a ton of tricks, but we're certainly not starting broke either. Yeah, so I like what we're talking about here. We may take an extra club trick. We may take it right here, to be honest. The other suits that may provide extra tricks are spades and hearts. Spades can provide extra tricks in a couple of ways. The finesse might be successful, and then if that suit breaks evenly, now we have lots of extra tricks. However, we may have some transportation issues on a hand like this. All right, so we want to be mindful of that as well. Now, what does this 4 of clubs suggest to you guys? What are you thinking when they lead the 4 of clubs? Yeah, so against this auction in this contract, this looks like 4th best, right? So if they had Jack 10, small, what would they lead? Would they lead the Jack there? So do we know they don't have the 10 on a hand like this? Not against no trump, right? They're not going to lead their top of touching honors unless they have 3. Which means that if they have Jack 10 small, they're going to lead 4th best, right? So here is a spot we not only might be able to take an extra trick, we're doing something with our communication possibly that's bad, but we may be able to take an extra trick right now, but also we may be able to end up in a hand where we can do something constructive in the spade suit, right? So if we're going to win this trick in the north hand, we're at least going to be there to maybe start breaking spades, and we'll see what happens here. So the Jack gets played. Interesting. So in the real world, right? You would expect East to have the 10 of clubs now because they led fourth best. This is not the real world, unfortunately. This is the robot world. So you can't take all of the leads to the bank, but in the real world situation, I would be saying, okay, the 10 of clubs apparently is in the East player's hand because they did lead fourth best from that honor. Okay, so we're going to play that ace of clubs. And now, honestly, I'm just going to take a spade finesse, right? This is the suit we can play safely from this side. We can do one of two things. We could play the 9 here and maybe hope we're getting lucky, which is kind of, if we're getting lucky, it seems like we're getting unlucky as well because that would suggest shortness. Or just taking this straight finesse and then trying to set up tricks afterwards. We'll see what they return. Unfortunately, they get off to their best return. They're breaking their longest suit. Let's see where we end up here. All right. Not the worst thing when they take their tricks because maybe they're blocking themselves. And here we go. Okay. And now they're switching to a heart, which honestly isn't that terrible for us either. They're setting up some possibilities of extra tricks here, which we may take. And now there's their diamond. And now we're just going to use clubs for entries for hearts. And we got that. And now here's the key, guys. Once we've done this, they've kind of, this is fun no trump contract stuff, right? When we're playing one no trump and we can allow them to win extra tricks and we're not, so concerned with, losing a ton of tricks, we can let them in. And sometimes they do good things for us. They set up our diamonds, which was setting up their diamonds really, but they also broke hearts for us, which was really good. So our plan here was to try to set up spades, but in the effort to do that, the opponents gave us a much better scenario. So here we're just going to try to take advantage of this in the most efficient way. First is we clear clubs and see if that suit is providing an extra trick. It's not, right? Now we try to do the same thing in hearts. So we play the heart to the jack, overtaking, make sure we get over there. Bingo. There's our extra trick on that suit. We're counting. We know that's 4-3-3. And now we end up with this last spade. And if they pitched poorly, we'll get lucky, but usually the robots pitch pretty well. So not the worst recovery there. We went from 14.3% up to 53.6. So yeah, 92.9. And that's why I love one no trump. Right? One no trump is just a great contract to sit back and play because you're flexible, right? You can, especially with a hand that has multiple sources here, you can rely on them to sometimes break your best suits for you, or at least your second best suit. And you just have to have the flexibility to understand, okay, now that that's happening, that is my better source of tricks, or that's at least where I rate to be slightly more successful. The robot, Michael, should not play the jack from Jack 10, but they frequently will. They don't necessarily obey the rules of proper defense as often as we do, I would hope. And that's just because they have their own ways of kind of carding and getting to their partners' meaty positions quicker than we can, I think, for some reason. But that being said, people can make weird choices with their leads always, so you have to be on the lookout for that. But in general, and let's see, did they have the 10 of clubs? They did. They had 10 fourth. There it is, right? Look right above me in the East player's hand. Yeah, so the robots were being legit there, right? They actually made their normal fourth best lead, and we could really be, confident that that's what they had. However, I'm way more confident with a human being making that lead. And yeah, the 10 of diamonds would have been a pretty good lead as well. But as you can see, the robots couldn't really hurt us terribly because the diamonds were dividing evenly. So this was going to be a pretty decent hand for us from the jump here. All right, so let's take a look. And passing one no trump, I think, might have been another reason we did pretty well here. Although it looks like a lot of people did pass one no. They just weren't playing it as well or just not taking as many tricks. So let's get back to business here. Gavin would be so proud of us. All right, here we go. Wow, take a look at this one. Make your bid. Make your call, folks. What are you doing with this one? Yeah, well, on the last hand, let's just in the chat there. If you're going to lead a diamond with the East hand, you would lead the 10 most likely, right? You're going to lead top of an interior sequence. And what you're trying to do there is you're trying to do what you end up doing. You're trying to pin that jack in the dummy if partner has an honor or two over in their hand, okay? So that's just top of an interior sequence. So yeah, the 10 would be better than the 6 for sure. Okay, so one thing we never want to do is we never want to misrepresent our shape to do something weird. So we don't want to open a heart and then reverse into spades, because partner will always think we have longer hearts than spades. Okay, so we want to treat this just like normal. We have 5-5. The only reason I asked this is because it's really strong. The better question is really going to come up when we have a rebid. This isn't strong enough to do anything but open one spade, and that's exactly what we're going to do. The question is, where will we be when it gets back to us? And okay, we have an easy choice now. All right, make your bid. Not too easy, but make your call. We opened a spade. Partner just raised. Yeah, Cecil Parkmark, not the worst idea, to be honest. But I think we're hoping for maybe too much from partner. And what they're doing is they're making this bid, which let's see what the robot would take it as. Yeah, so this is a special bid, right? And this is a bid that is going to show shortness in diamonds and a very, very strong hand. And yeah, you're not usually supposed to be splintering with singles and aces, but think of the other alternatives to this hand. If you don't have any extra system, and an extra system we could have is just some sort of, we could make a help suit game try and then make another bid, and that would be a control-ish type sequence. For example, if we bid 3 hearts, partner bid 3 spades, now we can bid 4 clubs. Okay, and that would be, oh, well, that wasn't a help suit game try. That was a pre kind of Q bid or control bid. So, but here, guys, I think what we're hoping for, is king, queen of spades, ace of hearts, king, queen of spades, king of clubs, and it doesn't really matter in hearts. But here, we certainly don't want to. It seems like terrible for us to just like be bidding for spades. I think we're back. Let me check with you guys out there. I am so sorry. This is about the third time we've kind of slowed down. This time we totally crashed. I'm not sure what is going wrong with YouTube. But I'm back. What's up? We're going to bid 4 spades, by the way. I like our discussion here. The key things are if I were going to do anything, I would tend to bid 3 hearts as like a help suit game try, or like we like to call them just a natural game try, all in an effort to just make a control bid next, no matter what partner does. The problem is if we bid 3 hearts, partner bids 4 spades. Now we have another decision to make. Do we control bid? Do we just bid key card here? I'm not in the habit, especially early in this tournament. We're only on board 3. We would really be hitting it out of the park if partner had the perfect hand. So just bid 4 spades and take your best result in that contract. And let's see how we did. Looks like we did pretty well, right? We could get very lucky and make 6 here, especially on this lead, right? This lead could help us out some way if left-hand opponent has certain cards. But here, it looks like we did pretty well. We rate to lose a heart and a club on this hand, no matter what's happening. So take a moment, guys, and I want you to make your play here. Now that we're all back together, and apologies for the drop off there, but now that we're all back, what are you going to play from dummy here? Make your choice. And we're playing 4 spades. And this is a time where if I'm playing a robot tournament, I know there's people that have bid 6 on this hand, right? Or I would be shocked if there's not 1 or 2 people that lost their mind and tried to bid a slam or bid a slam. So we may get a poor result on this board for no fault of our own for those outliers. But what we're really hoping is that we make 5, right? We want to be in 4 spades making 5 because that's the best we can do, right? We don't want to be in a spot where 6 is on the menu. That penny go for broke. So here, you can go for broke in either direction. My question for you when they make this lead is, what card are they more likely to have in their hand to our left? Is it the jack or the king, based on the fact that they chose to lead this against 4 spades? What is lefty going to have more often? I had an extra big coffee today, by the way, for this solo pilot. Yeah. The jack is just way more likely to be in our left-hand opponent's hand because the jack is an honor they're way more likely comfortable leading away from. Right? When they lead away from a king, it's a bad scenario. They're going to need a good reason to do that. So, West, while they may not have either of these cards, and sometimes they may have the king, they just, in the long run, are way more likely to just be sitting there with the jack if they're going to have one of those cards. So we're going to play the 10 and hope that that's the case. And then we have a shot at making 12 tricks here. Okay, it wasn't the case. And if it's the king now, oh well, we made a bad choice with this. But here, I want to ask what you guys want to do now. You won the ace of clubs in your hand. What's your strategy for success on this deal now? Yeah, Gerwin. I thought it was Jeff Gerwin. Yeah, I would guess East started with King Jack after I saw that. Yeah, exactly. Now again, I might be wrong. They might have led away from the king. The robot's pretty reasonable in these spots though, and with other choices, I mean, I guess they could have a couple of kings in the ace of hearts. Maybe they have all the cards and they just had no choice, but all right, very good. So we've seen already today where we have a short side suit and then relatively short trumps. In those situations, we delay drawing trump because we want to take roughs in the shorthand before we draw trump. This is the exact opposite of that. This is the other very common scenario. We have a long side suit and we're playing in a different trump suit, right? So our goal always in these spots is we're going to draw trump so that we can play our side suit completely uninterrupted. All right, so here we're going to draw as many rounds as we need to. Hopefully it's only 3, and there we go. And now we're just going to lead a low heart to the 10. And unless we're getting a horrifically bad break in hearts, which we now know we're not, we're going to do this. Now, in Robot Town, the robot is never going to throw away the King of Clubs, okay? In Human Town, we can get people to maybe make some mistakes, especially when they haven't taken their tricks when they have it. Okay, so in general, if I'm playing in a robot tournament, I would usually just claim one loser at this point and be done with it. But because I want to show you guys what a realistic scenario would be, you would now play hearts, right? And you want to make it look like you have a decision at the end when really you have no decision whatsoever. You're going to just start throwing away cards, and at some point, you might even throw away this Queen of Clubs. Just to let them know, hey, it's okay to throw your clubs away, guys. I'm waiting on these diamonds, right? And that's just a way to maybe trick opponents into doing something you like. Again, the robots don't get tricked, but humans get tricked pretty frequently with this. And as you can see, guys, they're probably going to take that away pretty quickly. Ooh, well, we'll get back to this one in a second, but look at the East player. They had King Jack third of clubs, and this is a great result for us as far as happiness. It was only 50%, and I would guess it's 50% because almost everybody did the same. Oh, I guess not. So yeah, there's your 2 people in slam, like we thought, right? 6 spades, 6 no trump. Oh well, guys. And there's 3 people that kind of chose a match point bid and bid 3 no, whatever. We're never going to play 3 no trump when we're 5-5. That's kind of ridiculous. So we're happy to get a balanced result there with a 50-50 shot. But here, like we can see, when they lead a club, we're just never going to be able to take more than 11 tricks. Right, so we couldn't do anything other than that. Happy we see this, right? We don't love 50-50s, especially when we're trying to claw back from maybe a bad result at the beginning, but we'll take it, right? We don't want to be too far outside the realm unless we get late and we need some more of these match points. So here, let's jump back in and look at this hand. 1 club by partner, 2 diamonds on our right, which is just preemptive, right? That 2 diamond bid, because it's a jump, is the equivalent of a weak 2 bid, just 6 to 10, 5 to 10 points, 6 cards in the diamond suit. We might have a slam in some of these hands, especially if we can find a fit. First things first, though, we want to make a forcing bid, not game forcing, but we don't need to show both majors yet, right? We want to start off by showing our longest major. If we were 4-4 in the majors, we might start with double. Here, we're just going to bid our longest suit first. And partner now bids 3 hearts. Make your call, folks. I'm not even sure what I want to do, so I'm going to be thinking about this as you guys are. but make your call after partner raises to 3 hearts. This is a cool hand. Hopefully the stream stays in excellent condition as it says now. Apologies for the lack of connection we had for about a minute and a half. It's always terrifying from my side, guys. I might look like I'm calm, but I'm freaking out when I see no connection on my screen. Yeah, so the big thing we have to recognize here is if partner has the right hand, we might take 13 tricks for all we know on a hand like this. The only downside to our hand is the king of diamonds. We wish we didn't have that card, to be honest. That's right hand opponent's suit. But we certainly do not want to let this go before we've at least investigating going higher than game. We know we have game, guys. We can bid 4 hearts, and we're going to end the auction if we do that. Here, we do want to try to make some sort of forward-going bid, and that's going to be 3 spades for us. And that should, for our partner, show first round control, and it also says, hey, I have interest. This is not surprising, unfortunately, right? Partner bids 4 clubs, showing first round control in clubs. Great, but we don't love that, right? We have first round control in clubs. Everybody see why this isn't great for us? We would love if they had first round control in diamonds, right? And deny first round control in clubs. The less they have in clubs, the better it is for us. However, mathematically, the way we look at our hand, obviously partner rates to have a lot of clubs and some good ones, right? So the question is, when partner does this, are we done speaking to them, or do we want to continue this discussion? It's not the worst, Babs. Like when partner has the ace of clubs, it's not terrible because it will provide a pitch for us. But it is what we're calling wasted values. Because think about it, would those 4 points that they have for the ace of clubs, would those be better placed as far as our hand is concerned? And the answer should be a clear yes, right? I would much prefer they have the ace of diamonds. Now that's unlikely because of the auction, obviously, but are we done? Are we just going to bid 4 hearts? Or are we going to take another call? What do you guys think? If we're going to take another call, it would be this one, right? And now it would be, hey, I don't have the ace of diamonds. I'm looking for some help there, and I still want to maybe play higher than game. Now, we're kind of putting our faith in the robot there to quite a degree. 4-no trump is rough because we're going to get an answer that's not cool for us. If we bid 4-no trump, Mickey, I like what you're thinking, and Ted as well. What if partner bids 5 hearts showing 2 without the queen? Or what if they bid 5 spades showing 2 with the queen? How do we know which ones they are? We know one of them is the ace of clubs, right? So with a void, it's kind of rough. I'm okay doing anything. I will tell you, let's dial it down to 2. And let me poll the audience here. This is going to be fun. All right, so here we go. I'm going to give you 2 choices, and it's going to be kind of an aggressometer. Like, do you want to just play 4 hearts, or do you want to go for the gusto and just make another control bid and leave it up to partner? I'm ruling out 4-no trump just because it might get us an okay answer as far as what we know so far. But I don't want to get you guys in the habit of bidding key card with a void. I think it's usually just minus expected value there. So here's our first poll of the day. Make your bid. I'm going to go by the poll. I will go strictly by what you guys say in the poll. So make your bid. And if it's 50-50, you'll give me my own choice. We'll do it with that one. All right, that's fine. That's fine. You guys can all have your reasons. It's okay. I'm going to leave it up there for about 30 more seconds. I'm surprised. You guys haven't had as much coffee as I have probably. You're a little... Yeah, well, 4 diamonds is weird. What would 4 diamonds be, actually? No, they're gonna be confused and think it's the ace of diamonds still. Yeah, you would love to be able to have normal control bids with the robots, but they only do first round, which is a big leak in their game. Control bids in a standard kind of modern bidding method should be first or second, but the crowd says we're bidding 4 hearts. We're going to bid 4 hearts. And guys, this is your board. This is your board of the morning. Oh, partner bids 4-0 now. Look at that. All right. So we signed off and partner said, oh no, I want to explore a little bit higher. Now the question is, what's that? Ooh, that's good, but that's not great. All right. So here we're just going to respond normally. We have 2 key cards, right? We have the ace of spades and the ace of hearts. That's our trump suit. We're not going to show our void because we want our void to be useful. And a useful void certainly wouldn't be a suit that partner bid and showed a control in. So here we're just going to be normal. However, 5 no trump would in fact show 2 key cards or an even number of key cards in a void. So here we kind of got to the result we wanted. And here was so lucky because we're going to lose the first 2 tricks, guys. You see why? What's going to happen? I'm so happy we missed this slam. Good bid, guys. Audience saved us on this one. Although we might have already gotten too high. Yeah, they're going to get this rough. It's going to go queen of diamonds, ace, with their ace jack 6 to our right. And here comes a diamond back. We know to play low, right? And there's the, oh, whoa. Oh, they didn't rough because guess what? Why didn't they rough, guys? This is a good one. Why didn't they rough? Maybe. Do you think they're void in hearts and have a stiff diamond? Yeah, it looks to me like West knows they have at least 1 heart trick, maybe 2. All right, so here we would never think that they have a singleton and a void and didn't make a call, right? If they had a stiff, a stiff diamond and a void in hearts, they probably could have found a Michael's cubid, right, or something, or done something constructive on this hand. So this is a spot where, yeah, they're allowing us to win this trick, but they're doing so for a pretty fun reason. And I would guess now also that East rates to be short in clubs, right? So we'll win. And honestly, I'm going to cash the ace of clubs and see what's happening. We'll pitch a spade. And we'll cash another club. Okay, they allowed us to do this. Right, and now we're going to get to the business of seeing what's happening with trumps. It's not really going to make a huge difference what we do, unless we decide to come to our hand and play this out in a fun way. Let's do this. There we go. And that's what they were doing, guys. They ended up with, it's funny, I'm playing this on a totally different screen, but we're going to give them 1 trick, which is their 10 of hearts. And there's their queen 10 third, right? They decided, okay, well, I don't want to trump that first one because I know I'm always getting a heart trick. And you see how they know that, right? They know they're getting a heart trick because they not only have the queen, but they have the 10, right? So they're going to just always have that. So they know, I don't need to rough this. I got a natural trump trick. I can just sit back and wait for that. Right? Kind of a fun way to think about that. All right, cool stuff. We could have roughed some spades in the dummy, but here, if anyone short in clubs, it rates to be East at this point. So we were very safe in just cashing our clubs, pitching our losing spades, and then just drawing some trump, right? Taking it out that way. 75% for us, which leaves us in 4th place after 4 boards, especially after that disaster of a first board. Not too shabby so far. Make your call with this one, guys. Board number 5, starting the back 9 here of the Wednesday morning tournament. Sorry for those of you coming in late. We had a little preview of the Wednesday lesson for this afternoon, our bridge lesson, but we also had some technical difficulties. So now that the stream is up and running properly, we're back to business. We're trying to get a solo victory, which is, we haven't had a solo game since like February or March of 2020. So welcome back, Rob, to the solo. Interesting. Ted, sometimes if it was a minor suit, maybe if that spade suit was a minor suit, but it's just it's not the right shape, and it's a 6-card major. So we don't really want to be in the habit of bidding 2-0 with a 6-card major. And again, it's not quite strong enough to open 2 clubs, guys. This is a 1 spade bid, and this is going to be a weird choice on the way back that we might have. So let's open a spade and see what happens. Okay, Now make your bid, guys. It's kind of a weird one. And honestly, kind of a fun one as well. We might have some fun with this hand. There are three good choices. And they are all game forcing. That's the key you have to understand with this hand. You have a 20 count and partner responded. So you know you have game. The three best choices, and Chuck, I'm with you, buddy. The three best choices are 4 spades. Right, getting the game solidly with your 6-card spade suit. The other choice is 3 clubs, which is a jump shift, but it's a jump shift that's a means to an end. Your plan is to make this kind of faux jump shift to 3 clubs and then bid spades naturally after partner responds. And sometimes you have to do this when you have a very strong one-suited hand. You have to kind of jump shift into a minor and then come back to your suit, whatever that may be. My favorite choice, though, is the one Chuck suggested. I like 3-no trump here. Look at your hand. You have 7 rippers in your own hand if things go relatively well for you. And you get to play 3-no in a match point game, right? And partner rates to have diamonds in this hand as well. Right, so yeah, the jump shift, if you were to bid 3 clubs, which is again there, that is absolutely game forcing, right? 100% game forcing. Your partner can never pass, right? So that's how you show these very strong, shapely hands when you've opened. Sometimes you might even open with a huge hand that's 2 suited, and you need the ability to kind of have this forcing bid as the opener, as far as rebids are concerned, right? So here, after a spade and no trump, I love 3-no trump here because, number one, the opponents aren't going to know what's going on. I could bid 2-no as well, showing 18-19 balance, but I don't really want partner to pass. I have too many tricks. And this is more of a trick-taking bid than anything else, right? So 3-no trump is usually going to be this. It's going to be, hey, I can probably take 9 tricks. And here we just hope partner isn't like totally bare in diamonds, which they're not. In fact, not the greatest, to be honest. The only entry to our partner's hand is in diamonds, unfortunately. But this is not the worst case scenario, right? We have still very easy chances for 9 tricks, especially if we're getting even, a 4-2 spade break or better. We still have, let's see, 6, 7, 8 tricks off the top, and we can just sit back and wait for them to do something else, right? So here, take a look. Even with partner having kind of a worst case scenario entry-wise, we still are a relative favorite to make 3-no trump. Let's hope things don't go terribly wrong for us. Notice if we bid 3 clubs, they would have bid 3 diamonds. We would have bid 3 spades. And what would they have done? They probably would bid 3-no, right? Or maybe they bid 3 hearts and we bid 3-no, right? So here, yeah, exactly, Stephanie. This hand is just a misfit that's not going to play well. Maybe, yeah, it's not going to really play well anywhere, right? But we've gotten to a spot game-wise that will end up playing well most of the time. So let's just keep our fingers crossed that spades are breaking reasonably well. There we go. Okay, now we know we're taking 6 spades. We'll pitch a diamond or 2 over here. The big thing we're going to save in that dummy over there is clubs. All right, we're okay pitching diamonds. Right? We are not like losing tricks. Those aren't, the only one that's a trick is the ace, and the likelihood of them letting us kind of get there is very low. Right? Maybe I shouldn't have pitched that heart there. So we'll see. I'm going to pitch another diamond though, and now we're just going to exit a club. All right, we're going to just hope they do some work for us over here. And there it is. Right, there's our work done for us. And we will take our 9 tricks. And we will sit back and see what that does for us score-wise. Maybe we get an extra one with a little heart. No, I think they set up their diamond trick. Not the best score, to be honest. Maybe we could have taken it. Oh, okay. Yeah. All right, so a few people were able to take an extra trick in no trump. And one player actually got the gift of making 11 tricks, and a couple of players were doing better in spades. So we needed to take 10 tricks in no trump. We only took 9, and that was unfortunate for us. If we could play it a trick better, maybe we could get that big score, which is like 71% for 3-0 making 10 tricks. And this is kind of the way you're going to go about these things when you're choosing between major suits and no trump, and recognize you did not have a major suit fit, right? So the fact that you're playing 4 spades and making it on this hand is just as lucky as making 3 no trump. But when you're splitting between those two games, making the equivalent number is usually pretty important, and that hand showed that pretty well. But we will press forward. 55%. We're still in 6th place. We have 3 boards left. Let's make these suckers count. Make your bid, guys. 1 heart on your right. Make your call. Can you guys check my volume? Dig and Bar, I think maybe your volume needs to be kind of checked up a little bit. It looks like the levels are pretty okay here. Maybe the audience can kind of help me out as well. Yeah, so check your dial there, my friend. Okay, this is a very. I'm glad this hand came up, because this is a spot where we are always doubling. Okay. Well, we are always doubling. I'm getting invited to a tournament by a random Bulgarian. That's nice. We don't always have to have 4 in the other major to make a takeout double, right? Our hand is the not ideal shape for a double, but it's pretty close. And we're not terribly upset when partner picks anything, including spades. All right, so do not be sucked into, hey, I have to always have the perfect shape to double, especially when you have the best hand at the table, which we know we do in these tournaments. We want to get in there and show this and give partner the flexibility to pick the right spot for us. And here, we don't do anything crazy, right? Partner said, hey, I like spades. You're like, okay, we are good. We'll play 2 spades. Sometimes partners only can have 4, and here they end up having 5. Awesome. Right? We're very happy about this. If they only had 4, we still are only at the 2 level, right? But recognize if we passed, right, and they open a heart and it goes, I don't know, 2 hearts, pass back to us. If we don't take action, we've missed the opportunity to get into this hand, and partner's certainly not going to do anything with that crummy spade suit themselves. Good stuff. So the 8 of clubs is let. We're always playing low here. Just recognize that, and also recognize that this is the declarer over here. Right, that's our declarer. Right, so this is the dummy. So the 8 of clubs is coming in to this hand. We are always playing low because we know the ace is not in the East player's hand unless they've made a cardinal sin here. So what we're hoping is they've led away from the queen. They haven't. Right, they have the ace queen on our left over there. Ooh, okay. Make your play, guys. I definitely identify as old school Reggie, that's for sure. I've been playing bridge since the 80s, which is pretty amazing. That's old school stuff. We used to hand calculate the games at the end of the night. That would take hours. What do you want to play here, guys? Recognize that right-hand opponent did open 1 heart on this hand. Yeah, here's the problem with this. This might go really bad for us if we play the queen. Because what if it goes queen, king, heart rough, club rough, heart rough, blah. This could get very, very ugly very, very quickly for our side. So I want to be a little more careful here, and I want to win the ace of hearts and draw some trump. Right? So I'm going to play the ace of spades. I'm going to play the king of spades. I'm going to draw 2 rounds of trump. This is just trying to be as efficient as I possibly can. And now I'm just going to exit a club and create some tricks in that dummy over there. All right, take a look. They were roughing that club. That was going to be really rough sledding for us for sure. All right, so this is a super spot for us to get right. And now we should have a reasonable expectation of where, that that card is as well. But here, maybe we get to lock them in there. If East doesn't have that last spade, right? Maybe they just have to lead to us after winning this trick. Oh, this was going to be so bad for us if we took that finesse. Oh, yes. All right, so now they're giving us an extra trick here. We love it. And now we'll play the Queen of Hearts. Yep. Take that rough. They over-roughed. Big deal. And there's our winner chicken dinner. All right, we'll take the rest of these. This is a cool hand to just recognize that sometimes what they have, is very easy to figure out. And take a look. When we got to this particular point, the crucial decision after it went Queen of Clubs heart is the ace, right? If we play the queen, it's going to go king, heart, rough, club, rough, heart, rough, right? So we have to be on the lookout for their strategy and the potential of just disaster. The club lead, and recognize West did bid 2 clubs here as well. The club lead was so big for us to understand that if they start voiding themselves of not just 1 but 2 suits, now they don't just take 1 trump that we gave them, they take like 3 or 4 of them, right? So be mindful of this, recognize the auction, and sometimes the play will just come to you, right? And the other good part is the spade situation was amazingly helpful. So once we get to this point, we drew some trump. Now, once we lead the club and they allow us to win it, okay, here, take your heart, partner or opponent. You can be my partner in a second, though, because guess what? You're end played. All right. Good luck. Carol, thank you so much for that super chat. Very nice. Yeah, so 96.4. Now we're in business, folks. We have 2 boards left. We're in 3rd place. They've been ahead most of the time, so the person in first might just be crushing us, but we're going to give it our best shot. Here, we don't have a great hand. Now, I mean, Gavin would hate me for doing this, but I would tell you, sometimes later in a tournament, especially when it's close and you think you need a good result, you might hope you're getting lucky by opening a no trump with a hand like this and hoping it goes all float, right? And I would 100% in the real world open this hand 1 diamond. I'm going to tell you that right now. There's no question I would do anything else. I would open a diamond and hope I get to rebid 1 no trump. And I can be convinced to do that here. But based on just my read of this tournament, we have 2 kind of suspect results, and I think we're really far behind. So I think we might need just a little bit of a more swing for the fence. So I'm going to open a no trump. And this is what I love, okay? I love when it goes a no trump all float, because now we get to play in the low-level contract where we have a good shot at it, right? So we've also kept the opponents out of the auction, which is really important as well, okay? So here we're going for, it looks like we got pretty lucky, so we're going to win this in our hand. And I want to plunk down the jack of clubs for my robot finesse, right? So here, when the robot refuses this finesse, I also need to think about entries as well. So this is kind of a rough one. If I play if I play the ace and then I finesse clubs and they're 4-1, I'm in trouble, right? Because now I only have that king of hearts for the entry. So here, as much as I'd like to, I think I'm in a really good contract. So I'm just going to let this go, right? I'm just going to let this lose so I guarantee 4 club tricks. And now I'm not terribly unhappy to see a heart. I would have hated to have seen a spade here. Here, this is just them setting up their suit. I'm going to actually take that so they can't set up spades. And now I'm going to take all 4 of these club tricks. And here, it looks like we could have done 1 trick better. Sorry, guys. If I'm a little bit better here, I can actually take that finesse the right way, but I don't know. It seemed like a little bit too much risk considering I have 7 tricks just on lock here. We're going to mess around here. We can't really be crushed too badly in hearts. We have the ace of spades. I'm hoping I can kind of finagle a diamond trick in if they're not on their game. And let's see what they do here. We'll pitch a spade. They'll cash as many hearts as they're cashing. And maybe we'll throw this. Maybe they get to crunch a couple honors together. There comes our spade. All right. We'll hope this is okay for us. I'm not sure what our best spot is if I bid this normally. We'll take a look. And this is good. We're either going to swing for the fences in a good or bad way, and it looks like it was a bad way. Okay, 21.4%. And the reason the reason is the opponents get into trouble. We get so unlucky on this one. Look at the result that gets the best score. It's 2-no Trump down 1. Because, oh, man. Here you go, guys. Sorry, I'm on the wrong screen. I got to show you this. No. When you open a diamond, the opponents get 2-no Trump from their side. And you guys saw, we made 1-no Trump ourselves, so we weren't going to have too much of a trouble getting this done. As you can see, though, our result was the best of the rest, right? Our choice to open 1-no Trump did get us the absolute best result of the rest of the field. But as you can see, and we've talked about this many times, shooting for better scores is not without risk, and the risk is this, right? When you really get a good shot out there and the opponents at the other tables actually bail out the score for the other players, you get unlucky. Oh well. All right, so 1 diamond, pass, 1 spade. Make your bid, guys. I want to see what you're going to do on this last hand. This is our true last chance to excel. It's unlikely Gavin will be watching. Everyone's super busy, and also, if any of you have ever played in a long kind of intense bridge tournament, it's exhausting. It is not just mentally exhausting, but physically you're exhausted as well, because you've used up all of your energy to the one, the brain muscle basically, and it is absolutely exhausting. You're almost like speaking in tongues when you're done with a long week of bridge. So here, this is another classic double, right? We're 4-4 at least in the unbid suits. We happen to be 4-5 here. So here we're just still showing an opening hand, guys, where we're showing the other 2 suits at least 4 and 4. And now we see them bid a no Trump, and a partner volunteers 2 clubs. I like it. Let's see what 3 clubs is going to be. Okay. We are showing probably too much here. In fact, it looks like they're going to be thinking this is a power double, which is unfortunate because we'd like to actually kick this in, and it shouldn't necessarily be this big. You see, it's going to think we have twice rebiddable clubs in 17 or 18. That's not quite what we have. It shouldn't necessarily be that much because partner made a free bid here, right? So it doesn't necessarily have to be that huge, but we're going to stay out of trouble and just let this go. And maybe partner does a good job and balances themselves. They did not. Okay, so we'll just defend. This is an unfortunate agreement that the robot has, and there's nothing we can really do about it, guys. We could have bid 3 clubs again. Now partner might just put us in a weird game, right? And we really, we have a nicely shaped hand, but we don't have anywhere near the values that we would be showing them. So let's take a look, guys. We're defending 2 diamonds only, and the auction was as follows: a diamond on our left, a spade, we doubled, and then it went a no Trump on our left. 2 clubs, 2 diamonds. All right. So take a look. Think about what's happening on this hand and make your plan here. And recognize one thing. How many spades does left-hand opponent have? And tell me why you know. It's a fun auction. How many spades does left-hand opponent have at most? That's the auction, guys. Kathleen is on it. It's probably 2 exactly. And it can't be 3 or more because the robots play support doubles and they play support redoubles, right? So if they had 3-card spade support, they would have redoubled. If they had 4-card spade support, they'd just raise the 2 spades. So West has, likely because of their no Trump bid, they have exactly 2 spades, but they cannot have more than that, right? So they either have 2 or less. I would say 2 is pretty much exactly what they have, but they, recognize that they certainly could have less. So when we think about that, what does that mean about the rest of their hand shape-wise? Right? We can't know for sure, but it sounds like they're relatively balanced, and spades is their short suit. Right? So here, what about that partner's lead? 9 of hearts. What does that suggest about the heart suit? Yeah, it suggests that Declare has three hearts, right? And they certainly don't have the king because partner looks like they're leading a doubleton, nine small, right? So Declare sounds like they have three hearts, two spades. It sounds like they're 4-4 in those minor suits, right? Four diamonds, four clubs, something like that. What do you think their strategy is going to be on a hand like this, guys? What are they going to try to do on this hand? And I know I'm taking my time with this last one, but this is a good discussion as far as defensive strategy is concerned. Right? What's the declarer strategy going to look like on this hand based on what we've figured out about their shape? Well, what we can see in dummy is something very important: shortness in a side suit and relatively short trump, guys. Right, so this looks like a strategy where, oh, well, if we leave their trump out there, they're going to have a real easy time of taking this and getting rid of losers in spades and clubs by roughing back and forth. I want to get in the way of that, and I know what we're looking at. We say we might be leading towards that dummy and finessing partner. Well, if partner has the queen of diamonds, they were finessable from the get-go, right? So here it's not the worst thing to just lead a diamond. Maybe partner has the ace too. Maybe they get to draw a couple rounds of trump, but here we see there's one round. What are they going to play? Predictable, right? This is tough. You want to duck, but really you've already gotten to the business of drawing trump. You hope they don't have king queen on your left. In fact, you hope partner has the king behind the queen. That would be money. Now let's see what they do. Here comes a spade. And there's their club rough, as predicted, right? And we knew partner was roughing that one. Declare at four hearts. All right, we'll take our score there. I think we probably did as well as we were going to do with that one, 71.4% for that. All right, yeah, as expected, we did need to swing pretty hard on that second to last board. It looks like we ended up in fourth place. Not too shabby there, not the worst case. 58% though, not the worst showing on our solo flight, guys. I think that first board was unlucky. I think if I just pitch a heart like a normal human being on the first board, maybe we're dancing for a little less, and maybe we don't swing as hard on board 7. But honestly, when I look at that result there, I'm not too upset about swinging hard on board 7 because it looks like Sherlock was way ahead. We needed to really get extra match points on that board to have a shot at the end. But look, on this last board, this is the thing that I love about match points, guys. This last board here is the quintessential, hey, we did our best, right? We want to bid 3 clubs. We'd love to, if the robot's going to not understand this as being a ridiculous amount of extra values, we would love to bid 3 clubs. But we maintained our sanity and we bid what we could, and we get to defend 2 diamonds, which they make. Oh, that's terrible. Well, no, just by being normal, we get 71%, right? So there is a great lesson for match points for you. Don't think you have to be taking every auction or even defeating every contract to get a good score. Sometimes you just need to be normal, take your tricks, and move on to the next board. Guys, thank you so much for joining. Sorry for the technical difficulties once again, and there's weird stuff going on with YouTube today. We'll see what was happening there, but it looks like the stream ended at a really good connection, so they figured out what was going on. We're back. The fall semester is in full swing. I think all my Thursday classes are scheduled through the end of October, and all my Wednesday classes will be scheduled through the end of October by the end of tomorrow. So you guys are going to have a lot to look at, and I have full kind of new lessons with a bunch of quizzes coming up in the future that I'll let you guys know about as well. So today we start back with the fall semester. 3:30 p.m. is the bridge quiz. Tomorrow morning, declare a duplicate game. It's the new rage on bridgelesson.com. You get to compete for prizes. You're going to get free lessons at the end of the month if you do well, if you have a high score. So check out those 2 new things at bridgelesson.com. And I hope you enjoyed my solo run today. We will hold our heads high, and we will bring back a good result to our buddy Gavin. We'll wish he and the rest of my good friends playing in the USBF a lot of luck and good fortune in their deals today and throughout the rest of the week. So, guys, thank you so much. I'll either see you in class at bridgelesson.com or right back here at YouTube on Tuesday nights and Wednesday mornings. So, thanks once again for joining, guys, and thank you for all those very generous super chats. Love you guys, and we'll see you next time. Take care.